In episode 107 of Soul Land 2, Unrivaled Tang Sect, the emotional tension reaches its peak. The focus of this episode is a pivotal turning point in the entire series, the tragic yet powerful sacrifice of Wang Qiu'er and the incredible transformation it brings about in Huo Yuhao. This episode doesn't just push the plot forward, it redefines the future of Shrek Academy, the Soul Beast world, and Huo Yuhao's own destiny. It begins with a deadly confrontation. Huo Yuhao finds himself in grave danger, surrounded and overpowered by two evil soul masters who are also titled Duluo. In a desperate battle that pushes him to his limits, he chooses to burn his spiritual sea. This act is not just reckless, it's irreversible. Burning one's spiritual sea causes permanent and fatal damage. But for Huo Yuhao, the decision is clear. It's either sacrifice himself or lose everything. By igniting his spiritual sea, he gains one final burst of power, unleashing a wave of spiritual energy and force that enables him to repel his enemies and protect those around him. However, the cost is unbearable. Although he survives the battle and escapes with his companions, Huo Yuhao's life is hanging by a thread. His spiritual sea, his core, his mind, his soul is disintegrating. Death is inevitable. Time is running out. And it's at this life or death moment that Wang Qiu'er makes the ultimate revelation. She is not just a human. Her true identity is the three-eyed golden lion, the Emperor's Auspicious Beast, a legendary creature that carries the destiny of the Star Dou Great Forest. Her presence in human form was no accident. She was born of the forest, destined to bring fortune and balance, and she had chosen to transform and follow Huo Yuhao out of admiration, gratitude, and eventually love. Until now, she had hidden this truth. But facing Huo Yuhao's imminent death and hearing his heartfelt confession that he too had feelings for her, she makes a decision that forever changes everything. She chooses to give up her own life in order to save his. Through the sacred act of soul sacrifice, Wang Qiu'er transfers everything she is, her soul, her strength, her fate, to Huo Yuhao. This isn't just a gift of power, it is the transference of destiny itself. The sacrifice restores Huo Yuhao's spiritual sea, extinguishes the burning force that threatened to consume him, and pushes him far beyond his limits. In the aftermath, Huo Yuhao's soul power jumps an incredible 10 levels, from level 60 directly to level 70. This leap in cultivation is unprecedented, especially at such a high level, and it signifies more than just a power-up. It reflects the magnitude of Qiu'er's sacrifice, as her divine soul ring, rose gold in color, is absorbed into Huo Yuhao's body. His spiritual force reaches a new realm, opening doors to abilities and perceptions he never had before. But this power comes at the price of irreversible loss. This moment of transformation is not just physical, it is spiritual, emotional, and symbolic. Huo Yuhao and his companions, Nan Shuishuai and Nan Qiuqiu, understand the gravity of what has just occurred. They recognize that their survival and Yuhao's rebirth were only possible because Wang Qiu'er gave up her life. In a silent tribute, they kneel and offer their deepest respects, not just for her power, but for her love, her choice, and her sacrifice. But peace does not last. Far away in the heart of the Star Dou Great Forest, nature itself responds to Wang Qiu'er's death. A torrential rain begins to fall, an unnatural storm unlike anything seen in 100 years. Even more bizarrely, the skies remain clear. There are no clouds. The heavens do not weep, yet the rain pours as if the forest itself is in mourning. As the storm fades, the sky turns crimson red. The atmosphere is thick with sorrow, fury, and mourning. The one who senses this most deeply is none other than Tian, the beast god. As the ruler of the Star Dou Great Forest and one of the most powerful soul beasts alive, Tian had always regarded Wang Qiu'er, the Emperor's Auspicious Beast, as a precious being, one that represented the very fate of soul beasts. To him, she was more than kin. She was a symbol of the forest's future, and her existence was key to the balance between humans and soul beasts. When he learns that she has been sacrificed to a human soul master, his fury knows no bounds. He immediately attempts to retrieve her using the ancient technique known as descent, a method reserved for reclaiming sacred souls. But Qiu'er resists. Even in death, her will remains. She refuses to return to the forest, choosing instead to remain with Huo Yuhao, sealed within him as both memory and power. This defiance enrages Tian. Not only has he lost Qiuer, but her power, her destiny, has now been passed to a human. For Tian, this is the ultimate betrayal, not just of trust, but of the natural order. The spiritual fate of the forest has shifted. Huo Yuhao has unknowingly become the bearer of the Star Dou Great Forest's divine legacy, and that cannot be allowed. Tian's response is immediate and violent. He calls upon the four great soul beasts of the forest, each one a terrifying force in its own right, and commands them to prepare for war. Their target is clear: Shrek Academy, the place that nurtured Huo Yuhao, the place where Wang Qiu'er chose her fate, the place Tian now sees as a threat to the soul beast world itself. What began as a personal sacrifice has now triggered a conflict of monumental scale. Huo Yuhao, still reeling from loss and transformation, must now face the wrath of Tian and the fury of the Star Dou Great Forest. The question is no longer whether he can protect himself, but whether he can protect everything and everyone he loves from the storm that's coming. Wang Qiu'er's sacrifice was not just an act of love, it was the turning point of fate itself. Her choice gave Huo Yuhao a second life, but also placed the weight of destiny and war upon his shoulders. As the storm gathers and the soul beasts march toward Shrek Academy, one question remains. Will Huo Yuhao be strong enough to carry the legacy she left behind? This is only the beginning of the chaos to come. If you were moved by Qiuer's sacrifice or shocked by Tian's fury, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown of the next dramatic moments in Soul Land 2. Thank you for watching, and as always, cultivate your heart and stay strong.